Welcome in, everybody. We had our game against the Chiefs. They suck. That's good to see. Um, yeah, we're doing good. Make sure you guys, if you like this content, you guys really helped us out at the game. Trevor was there, got us a bunch of subs. Thank you for the vids and everything. People joining in, doing interviews. Love that. Love to see you guys out there, and I'll be out there starting against the Browns. I'll be at that game. But yeah, it's all coming together. And make sure to like and subscribe. And Trevor, how you doing today?
I'm doing well, man. I'm doing well. I'm feeling very optimistic for the season now. I think this is one of the first times I watched a preseason game and didn't see like 15 people that I was immediately like, cut that fucking guy right now. Like, don't even let him make it back to the locker room. So okay. I feel pretty good about that.
What about you, Eric?
Man,
oh, my bad.
Eric looks like he's stuck taking a drink.
Oh.
He'll be back.
Yes, Josiah DeGura. That's who the tight end was. 27.
I can tell you this though, man. Like I thought after the first drive or two that our interior D line was very disappointing for the first two drives. But then they tightened up. Like really came together and just locked down. Like there wasn't really any more big runs after the first couple drives. So I was happy to see that. You know, I also saw a couple things like Ventrell Miller is absolutely him. Ventrell is him. I saw Yasir Abdullah. We were absolutely right about how we felt Yasir was going to be coming into this preseason. Like the play style he was going to have and what they were going to use him for. And I think he absolutely fucking killed it. He was super solid. Super solid. I can say offensive line is still concerning, but that's also an offensive line that's already hurt. So we'll see. Now, I'm not going to say that it's Fortner's fault because of the double A-gap blitz. And that's not Fortner's fault. That's literally what the play style on defense is designed to do, is to overload him. But that being said, I mean, other than that, they look good. And then, you know, we'll wait for Eric, or hopefully wait for Eric. Hopefully he can come back in time so we can talk about the specific star players. But to the guy that commented and asked, we told you about what specifically, admin, whoever that is, responded and did tell you what we were talking about. But just in case you didn't get to see that, we gave you guys the inside scoop that Tank Bigsby was the starter on kick return. And he absolutely was. He was out there starting kick return.
Pretty surprised that Duvernay wasn't out there.
I was too. But hey, and that's the debate we had last episode was Duvernay or Bigsby. And
it's definitely not a bad thing to say.
No, it's not. And I liked what Tank was able to do in returns. But I loved what Parker, the motherfucking stud Washington, was able to do. Dude was fucking electric, man. It was electric.
Well, I heard that Bigsby, if he wouldn't have tripped after that guy tripped him up a little bit, if he would have been able to keep going, he could have potentially broke one.
Oh, yeah. Yeah, he tripped up like right around midfield almost. It sucked because he had a big one in him. Like it was, he's on the cusp, man. Like he was right there. But I will say this too, though. Bigsby had some big runs in the ground game. Not so much yardage wise, but just big physical, like bully ball runs, you know.
Which I said this in before the season. Let me get this down here just so if Eric comes back, I can drop him in it quick. I said this before the season, in the offseason, when we picked him up in as a UDFA. Jalen Jackson. He was running with some power. He looked good.
Jalen Jackson was really good.
You know, so that's one I'm actually pretty excited about. He, you know, and you might see this now, what I was talking about originally. Watching his tape in the offseason, he kind of reminds me of a more explosive James Robinson. They're roughly this, he's like an inch or two taller. I think he's 5'9" or 5'10", but he's like 215, 220. Pretty decent speed, but he's a big bowling back that he just doesn't go down easy. He's got good contact balance. So it's fun to be able to see him doing his thing.
And I love that. I love that. I was a huge James Robinson fan. I got him his signature on a helmet over here. I love James Robinson. I just wish we would have handled that situation a little bit better, start to finish. But regardless, I think our second shot at life is Tank Bigsby there. But Jalen Jackson's a beast. He is a beast. Like I was saying that even in training camp when I was telling you about the runs he had up the sideline, he was absolutely insane. He was going out of this world, just like hitting people and stuff like that. One thing I can say, Trevor Lawrence was absolutely insane. As far as like, hey, I know we didn't see a lot from him, so before anybody, don't come with your bullshit. All right. But I can tell you this: I was more pleased with what I saw from him than what we saw from Patrick Mahomes.
Yeah.
And I'm not saying that like just biased. I'm just saying like I saw Patrick Mahomes make some passes. Patrick Mahomes did what Patrick Mahomes does and expand on broken plays, like plays that are just breaking down. And because he's so elusive, he can expand the play and then make a dump pass to somebody who just broke away free after 5 minutes of coverage. You know? But like Trevor Lawrence, I like what he was doing. Like he wasn't locking in on one receiver. I think the play he made to Gabe Davis, that was a fucking laser. I think Gabe was his third read, you know. So he was definitely efficiently reading through the play and progressions and then hit him in stride. The Travis one, I will say he locked in on Travis, but I think he locked in on Travis because after you see base 3 or 3-2 alignment, you know a linebacker's on Travis, and he's not stopping him on a Texas route. It's not happening. And I mean, everybody saw that touchdown, you know. And I think we jumped out to a lead and never looked like we were going to lose it. And I appreciated that because like our starters were only in one drive longer on offense than Kansas City's, but both of our starters came out after one drive on defense. Other than Jarian Jones and a couple others that we're just trying to get some real game footage on and just see how they move. But I can say also, speaking of Jarian Jones, I'd like to know what you thought of his performance the other night. I saw him give a little bit too much cushion at times, but otherwise was pretty sticky. Stayed with guys well, made big physical hits. He got hit one time. Like he tried to make a hit, but it didn't really do nothing. And it was that Steele running back they had. His last name's Steele. That guy ran like his bills are due. Right, like, that guy was running. But you know,
how was that rugby player? Did he play?
What was his
Or
name?
did he get hurt?
I think he got hurt already.
I know ours did, but I don't remember if because I was kind of wanting us to try and pick him up. Let me see. Luis Reese-Zammit. He played. He was number 9. Did you see a lot out of him from the Chiefs?
I don't remember him standing out.
Okay.
So if that's any consolation. I felt pretty confident with what I saw from our DBs as well. Like that's what we were really talking about and concerned about. Now I can say this. Antonio Johnson has seemed to have taken a step back, but that could just be like he needs to knock the rust back off and step into a full-time starter role, you know, like this is the first time doing that. But because he was loose in coverage a few times and kind of got taken advantage of, and they were throwing at him exclusively for a few times in a row. But after he got through that and he kind of started like sticking like glue again, he formed back into the game. But the only person I can say that absolutely stood out on defense, like head and shoulders above everyone else, Ventrell Miller. Ventrell Miller looked like a Lewican Jr. Just tackles everywhere. Absolute missile to the football, no matter where it went. Was stopping runs up the gut. So was Breland Speaks, which we'll get to that. But, our interior D-line looked really good too. Like Mason Smith was moving people. He may not have gotten all the tackles, but he was definitely moving that line and opening up gaps for our linebackers to shoot through or defensive ends to come around. It just depended on the play. But I like what I saw from him a lot. What did you see from him? Did you get to watch a whole lot of the game, or?
So I didn't get to see a whole lot of the game. I will say that it was nice to see, um, you know, you see these big guys and you want to make sure that they can still move good even after injuries. Um, Mason Smith, he was kind of a guy that I was looking out for to see how he was moving. Um, I have seen some clips. I watched a little bit. What up, Eric?
Okay.
I watched I watched a little bit of the all 22, not the the all 22 on NFL Plus. So I've seen a little bit. I think Smith showed a little more power than I was expecting this early. I think Miller was definitely flying around to the ball. I do like seeing Yasir Abdullah playing well. I think a big thing that I'm kind of now wondering after watching the game, though, I played linebacker. I know Eric also played linebacker. Like, it's a big position I like to follow is, Ventrell or Yasir, who's pushing for that third spot. Because I think that no matter how well, Ventrell plays wherever they put him or how well Yasir plays at whatever position they put him, they're going to play the better of those two at the third spot, either behind Muma or in front of Muma. I know Muma had a couple good plays. You want to see Muma gone, and then Muma all of a sudden is all over the place. So, and we drafted him with the full intention of him and Lloyd taking over once it was time for Aluakin to go, but Aluakin proved to be too valuable. So it's going to be interesting to see the rotation at that third spot, or if they purely focus those two behind the two guys in front of them and just play them in those single holes. That's kind of the big thing that I'm wondering after the game is, who's going to be that third linebacker, and where are Ventrell and Yasir stacking up internally, in the office and everything.
Well, I don't know how much, Eric, if you got to watch the game or if you watched the whole thing, but I can say this, though, from what I saw, like watching it live, Ventrell Miller's that third, and it's not even close. Now, Yasir and Chad Muma made great plays. They definitely made their case to stay on the team. But if it's a choice about who's coming in that third, it's Ventrell Miller. If they continue to play like what was played last night. Like if preseason 2 and 3 go like last night did, it's not even close. It's Ventrell Miller. I mean, he was everywhere. Everywhere, dude. Club cast and all, didn't matter. He was everywhere.
I have to agree with that. I have to agree. And like I say, Muma, yeah, I was a little impressed with Moon last night. I was like, okay, he still wants a job. He still wants a job. But yeah, Mr. Cash Man, that's what I call him, Mr. Cash Man. Yeah, he impressed last night. So yeah, he would definitely have to be in front of Muma if anything, as number 3. Yeah.
But Yasir, that's not to take away from what Yasir did either. Yasir closed the edges.
Right.
Like, Yasir sealed the outside very well. Like if there was any runs going to the outside, Yasir was on that. Or Breland Speaks. Breland Speaks was on that too. Like Breland Speaks was moving.
Yeah, the only problem with Speaks was he got a little too aggressive, and he got juked real bad one time though by the quarterback. I was like, oh my God! But yeah, but that can be fixed. You know what I mean? That can be fixed. Yeah. So I didn't even know Speaks was on the team though. Where did he come from?
We just signed him last week.
Literally just got him last week. One person I didn't know we got. God damn it! I just lost it as soon as I wanted to say it. Oh man.
What position?
I think he's a safety.
Talking about Terrell Edmonds?
Yeah, Terrell Edmonds. I had no idea.
We talked about him.
I know we did. Like at the moment of the game, at the point in time, I completely forgot he existed, and then he just came in like.
Him wearing 45 confused me.
Yeah, I was like, what?
But talking about the physicality though, boy was laying some wood.
He was a first-round pick.
Boy, it was laying that wood now.
I'm pretty sure he was a linebacker that got converted to safety because of his speed, if I'm not mistaken.
Right, when he went to Pittsburgh, drafted by Pittsburgh. Yeah. Mm-hmm. Yeah. He did impress.
Another thing was that Tank Bigsby moved to the return. Now we talked about it
all
briefly.
Right, stop right there before you get started. Stop. I want to publicly on the show apologize to Trevor for doubting his scoop on Tank Bisbee returning kickoffs. I just want to say it because once I saw it and saw what Tank and Parker Washington was doing on them kickoffs, I like, okay, I was wrong on this one. I got to apologize. I questioned it on the show, so I'm gonna apologize on the show. So Trevor, good scoop, man. You know this how we do. This how we do. Yeah, but man, those two cats look. Oh my gosh, you know.
And at the same time, you nailed it on the head about Duvernay.
Oh yeah, I was like, sometimes when you play with certain teams, and that becomes your role. In his case, he's a punt returner, so that's all people know. But I remember when he played at University of Texas and the damage he was doing as a receiver. So, and there are certain times when he played with Baltimore, he would make big plays that were just outrageous. So, yeah, Duvernay is a hell of a receiver. And they'll be careful. Somebody else gonna be returning punts, and he gonna be in the rotation.
Well, actually, they ended up putting Tank on a punt return too.
Yeah, and he almost broke that, didn't he? Didn't he almost break down?
One trip up away. One trip up away. He was in the residence.
Look, I said Tank came to play. Tank came to play yesterday, and that's the Tank we want to see, especially that run up the middle where he was just running over folk. Yeah. That's outstanding play. But it was something else I wanted to talk about real quick. But it'll come back to me. Go ahead, Trevor.
Another thing, I know everybody by now has seen the clip of Brian Thomas Jr. What did you guys think of, what did it show you that, stood out when he made that catch? Because to me, it showed incredible focus. Because the ball was underthrown, in my opinion, a little bit. And he still went down, repositioned, and focused around the corner and brought it in anyway and survived contact with the ground, unlike some certain number 0 player we had before.
But see, that part right there is what got my attention. The physicality, because old boy was pulling and tugging and hugging, and he was just going through, reaching around, just grabbing the ball like he was like, okay, like a little child, your father and your little child on your back. You're like, all right, just stay there for a moment. Let me just do this real quick. Yeah. So that was,
reach around, grabbing the balls. No Diddy. All right, we're talking about football here. Just clear in the air.
All right. No. All right. I wasn't even on that. I wasn't even on that level today, but okay. And you know who was the first one out to greet him, though, when he made that catch? Gabe Davis.
Gabe Davis.
He was the first one off the sideline to greet him when he made that catch.
Cam Robinson had to run out there and grab him and pull him back.
So, yeah.
The whole team went crazy. Everybody went crazy.
Trevor was super excited, too.
Yeah, Trevor was jumping.
I liked hearing Trevor talking about him after the game. That was great.
Yeah, it was.
But here's a question. Maybe one of y'all can answer. Why did Cephas only get 2 plays, 3 plays?
I'm going to be honest with you. I was wondering the same thing. But he did get more than 2 or 3 plays. But all his time came in the fourth quarter in the last 3 minutes.
Right.
I'm not going to lie. That was disappointing because when he was in, he made one rookie mistake. He lost focus on the ball when it arrived.
Mm-hmm.
That's on him. But as far as his route running, his speed and elusiveness, he was busting routes almost every play. Very rarely was somebody sticking with him. Mac was running out of time 9 out of the 10 times. He didn't have enough time to get him the ball down the field rather than take the check down or the safety valve. But I can say, though, he did not get a whole lot of playing time like we anticipated. So we missed the mark on that one.
Right.
But I will say I don't regret the takes we had on him. Everything in training camp and everything he was doing showed he should have gotten way more playing time than that. And, maybe that comes with the fact that they anticipate him being in the rotation so much.
There you go.
Don't want to risk him being injured. And that was what I came to the conclusion of. Because watching him play, he was leveled above most of the other, 3rd and 4th string receivers that were just being thrown in there.
Right.
He was up here.
Yeah, I thought the same thing. I'm like, well, maybe they made a decision on him already, so we don't want to put him out there like that. So, yeah. Good looking out. That's what I'm thinking. What about you, Isaiah? Okay. Isaiah doing
No,
thumbnail.
I was hoping to see more Josh Cephas. I was kind of surprised that we really didn't get a lot of plays from him. I'm kind of surprised that BTJ played more than he did. That's what kind of threw me a little bit. Is like we know how good BTJ is going to be. Like him playing that late in the game, I don't really know what they were trying to prove or what they were trying to see with that. But I will say on the BTJ catch, I'm going to go back to that real quick. I think the CJ Beathard was getting hit when he threw that ball, and that's why it got there underthrown, wasn't it?
Yeah, he was getting ready to take the sack.
Yeah, I thought so. So he, great concentration by him to be able to grab that strong hands through the contact. They didn't even throw the penalty flag, so I'm glad that he caught that ball. A lot of people were like, "Oh, it would have been a PI anyways." Well, not exactly because Trevor even said it after the game. They were letting them play through contact a lot and not throwing flags.
Oh yeah.
So it's better that he caught that ball, and it tells us he can make those tough catches. So even if he doesn't in the future, and they call a PI in a real game, hey, we got the PI. But if they don't throw the flag and they let him play, I mean, he caught the ball, and that's important. And again, not getting as much out of Josh Cephas was interesting. I think that a couple of guys put out some good performances. Like I mentioned Trevor earlier, and I'll mention it to you, Eric, now since you're back. The running back out of Villanova, Jalen Jackson. I know I talked about him whenever we signed him as a UDFA, kind of called him, James Robinson with more explosiveness. He looked really good, had a couple of 5-6 yard clips. The running backs were moving the ball really well. That was one thing I like to see is even when the second and third string were in there, the running backs are moving the ball. I think that's going to be an interesting room to watch as well as we go forward is, do they keep Dearness Johnson, Tank Bigsby, ETN, and a fourth running back? Is that fourth running back Keelan Robinson? Is it going to be Jalen Jackson? Is it going to be Gary Brightwell? We have a lot of guys back there now. So it's going to be very interesting to see that room and how it goes moving forward.
Wow, you're right.
That's something that I didn't really think we were going to have a battle in the running back room coming into this. But I think that we're kind of moving in that direction now, and that's going to be interesting to see how it plays out.
I definitely agree with you there. Brightwell made some good plays too. Brightwell made his case to stay around at least until next week.
Right.
I mean, the biggest problem is we're not going to let go of Keelan Robinson. We just drafted him. He's not going anywhere. Dearness Johnson still runs mad angry, so I don't think he's going anywhere. We know Tank Bigsby's not going anywhere. We know ETN's not going anywhere. Jackson, every time he's touched the field, he's been electric. So I think if anybody does get dropped, it'd be Dearness Johnson for Jackson. I don't think that we're not getting rid of Keelan Robinson, whether he just goes strict return or whether he rotates more heavy into the run game than we're thinking. But regardless, I don't think he's going anywhere. I don't know. But it definitely is a good battle shaping up. You're absolutely right about that.
Yeah.
Well, the big thing about that for me, though, is I think that Keelan Robinson's is the first casualty, if anybody is. Because I don't think when they drafted Keelan Robinson, he was a 6th round pick or 7th. I think it was a 6th rounder. You really don't have any loyalty to him at that point. It doesn't cost anything to get rid of. He's only on a 3-year deal anyways. But my thing is, I think that because Keelan Robinson has not seen any playing time, we'll have to see if he gets healthy, by next game, stuff like that. I don't think that they drafted him expecting Tank Bigsby and Parker Washington to be their mainstay guys because, they signed Devin Duvernay. They drafted him. I don't think they expected Tank Bigsby and Parker Washington to be those two guys. So I think that gives you a little more flexibility there than what we were expecting. Of course, once we see Keelan Robinson on the field, it's going to be different. He could take over and be great. He could be terrible. But I think the fact that Tank Bigsby and Parker Washington have adjusted into that role gives us a lot more flexibility to say, hey, Keelan, we brought you in for this. We got these other guys. We got Jalen Jackson who's giving us plays. Also, too, I think if Jalen Jackson continues to play well, there's a lot less likelihood that he clears waivers.
Agreed.
And I feel like Dearness Johnson, he's got a contract, a bigger contract. I'm sure we could easily get out of it. But I think they like Dearness Johnson, and he's come in and played for us well. He's one of the higher level backups in the league. And for us to have 3 different guys that could potentially start or be a high level backup in all these different places.
Right.
I think keeping a fourth guy would be important. I think that that's going to play out, but I don't necessarily think that us drafting Keely Robinson means we're not going to get rid of him. But I do see the point of we brought him in. I think that just kind of depends on if he starts getting playing time and if he ends up going to the injured reserve /IR/waivers, or if we just move him to the practice squad. But there's going to be a couple of guys as the weeks go on that we're going to have to make decisions on, and they may clear waivers and they may not.
Yeah.
Okay.
I think we've got another example of what we've been talking about this whole offseason is we finally got decisions to make like we've never had before. We're used to easily, this guy needs to fucking go, like this guy needs to go, this guy needs to go. Like we've been used to that. We're not used to that whole we've got good guys to pick from.
Yeah. That makes the next couple of weeks very, very interesting and fun. Like you say, fun. And look, the safeties are looking pretty good too. That's another spot we're gonna have to make some tough decisions. Think about it. We got Amos, and he's made a couple of good plays, huh?
Yeah, all our safeties came in and made good plays.
Yeah. So. Dewey gonna have his spot. So yeah, but then again, that's like we said before. If they continue to perform like they did last night, then that gives the team a little bit more flexibility of how to handle Dewey injury, depending on how serious it is. It may not
make the difference right there. Is what you just said, how serious it is or isn't.
Mm-hmm.
I don't think they've actually said how serious it is or isn't. They just said he's going to miss significant time. I don't think I've actually read anything about.
Yeah, I don't think they've released what it actually is.
Yeah, I don't think I've seen that, which is scary in some sense because I would like to know what's going on with him. He's one of our stars, essentially. He's not I use that word.
Yeah. He's a star. He's a star.
He's a stud. I would kind of like to know what's going on with him, but I mean, I also get at the same time, you can only put so much out there before your team becomes predictable as far as like who you're going to be playing and like what teams know to prepare for you and when they prepare for who. There is a certain level of like game plan and scheming that comes into that. And I can see that aspect too. With Dewey, I think we should know by now personally. I don't think there's really any reason we shouldn't know yet. Unless they just don't know. That could be it too. I mean, I have kind of overlooked that and the fact that they may not even know exactly what it is yet in its entirety.
Yeah.
And
Good point. That's also scary though, because this happened 2 weeks ago now.
Yeah.
And if we're having to look that deep, into what it is, I'm scared to find out.
So that's going to be interesting as well. Did you see they actually had JJ and Prince on the field together, actually side by side, a couple of plays.
How did Prince do?
I saw DeAndre Prince make a couple open field tackles that looked good.
Yeah.
Okay.
Coverage, I never saw him get taken advantage of, so that's a good thing.
Mm-hmm. He's a little small, so his tackling is something I was kind of worried about, but.
I can say that his name didn't come up a lot, which is good for me in his case. Like the good not coming up a lot. Like he's not getting exposed.
Yeah. Well, a couple of passes, it was quarterback, and that was defensive line doing their job, rushing the quarterback, so that it wasn't on. But honestly, if the receiver would have caught the ball, he would have been there to tackle or break the pass up. So his cover, he wasn't that bad.
He wasn't Jarrian Jones, but he definitely did well.
Right. I mean, let's be honest. Crossing routes are hard, and quick slants are hard to guard. Anyway, so yeah, he wasn't, like Trevor just said, he wasn't going to be exposed or being exposed. It wasn't going to be one of them Braswell things where you just fall and get up and happen to make a play that they call back for some reason. What is it with us in them kind of plays? We never get a break on those, do we?
No, we always get screwed.
Yeah, it's the Chiefs, and we play the teams that the refs love, and we just don't get those calls.
Shout out Josh Patterson.
But yeah, so they
Yeah, I'm
look
just gonna
pretty
say
good.
it real quick though. The
They look
fact that
good.
they're glazing in preseason already is wild.
Hmm.
That's fucking insanity
Well, I
to
mean,
me. Like,
Chiefs
how are you?
fans are all upset too. They're like, "Oh, we're doing terrible," blah blah blah. Like, yeah, you are, but then they're gonna come back and be like, "Oh, well, we've got championships." Like, nobody cares, bro. Shut up.
Well, you
And
know,
another,
well, see what you have to remember. It is preseason, so you can't get too high and you can't get too low unless there are just glaring problems like we used to have back in the day. Like, oh man, here we go. But I didn't see those last night. Yeah,
no,
little things here and there you can fix, but as far as glaring holes, no, I didn't see that last night,
I saw
and I'm
rookies that need to
good.
clean up rookie mistakes.
Yeah, yeah. Like let's remember that we're in a division now with a lot of mobile quarterbacks. So, if you on that edge, you just can't take off and crash down because they got naked boots going on and carrying on with these little fast jokers. Just little eye discipline and discipline type of stuff. So, but other than that, I really was. I was really curious to see what the off defense was going to do against Mahomes, and it was predictable. Quick passes, trying to switch it up here and there. Defense held their own pretty good, so you know, and we
I think
know
on
the
offense,
starters weren't there, so and nobody was game plan for. So yeah, that was impressive. I think people feel better because everybody was wondering how this new defense, was going to look compared to last year's. And if you looked at it, you know what you're looking at. It's totally different. It really is. Even one of the announcers said, they started off in one, dropped out, looked at something, another, and they ended up in a totally different. And this all in while the play was going on, you
Mm-hmm.
know. So that is totally, and it confused the quarterback. That I think that was the number 13 or whatever. It confused him. So
oh yeah, I like that. We
it,
were forcing them to look through their progressions. Well, that was always been
right.
our problem. Yeah, I mean, worst case scenario, we used to be able to force them to their second read. I mean, but
Hmm.
now we're forcing them to look through the progressions. I will say we didn't get as much quarterback pressure as I'd like out of our second string or out of our depth at the line. Um, they did good on interior runs and outside runs and sealing that edge from him trying to scramble.
Hmm.
I think I only remember like one or two sacks between the two quarterbacks. That like Wentz and whoever that third guy was. Um, we got pressure. I'm not saying we didn't. I'm just saying like against other like backup linemen, I would have liked to have seen a little bit more pressure from them. But
Yeah.
that's here nor there. That's just me being picky. But you know, hey,
Well,
I
you
can't
at
say
that
this
point
though.
now.
Mac Jones is absolutely QB2.
Oh
That's
yeah,
that's everything I've been seeing is a Mac Jones is QB2.
yeah,
No doubt. Mac
without
Jones.
a doubt.
CJ Beathard looked stale at times. I mean, don't get me wrong. BTJ made a great catch for him, and so did Duvernay. Because even the pass to Duvernay was underthrown. He wasn't getting sacked on that one.
Right. Yeah, because I did say if it was a little further out, it would have been an easier catch for him.
Yeah, I mean,
Yeah.
we got lucky that the DB was stupid enough to not down Duvernay before he bounced across the end zone line.
Hmm.
Like,
Right.
we'd have been down at the one versus touchdown, but he wasn't smart enough to down him. And also, did you guys see the safety? The
Yes.
safety we got. That was
Look,
wild.
when they
Was that
called
was
it,
that on the kickoff return one?
yeah,
Yeah.
yeah. When they did it, I said that should be a safety, and they were saying no, you got to do. I'm like, no, that's a safety because he picked it up and went back into the end zone. That's a safety. I
But what
think
I
I
will
text
say is,
somebody,
I thought
huh?
it was weird. The ball landed in the end zone first, like initially off the kick before anyone touched it. It hit the end zone, bounced back into the field of play. The guy touched it then, and then went in the end
Hmm.
zone and touched it and knelt. So that's
Right.
how it was a safety. But I thought it was weird because normally, if it hits the end zone, touchback.
Yeah. Well, Did,
I guess
did
because
he?
with the new rules,
Hey,
I don't know.
Isaiah, can you put well, you probably
Yeah,
can't find it right now. I'm saying, can you pull it up and let's look at it?
yeah, I probably can.
Because
Let me.
if that is the case, then Trevor is right. That should have been a touchback.
Yeah, let me see because I don't know if it's automatically down if it goes in or if it comes out if it's not. That was a kickoff, right?
Yeah, it was a
Yeah.
kick.
Because if it hits inside of the 20-yard line, you're required to play it.
Yeah, but I
I
think the
don't,
kick
but
landed in the end zone.
no,
That was,
I think at first it hit and then hit in the end zone and then came out. I could be wrong.
oh,
I'm pulling up. I'm
Okay.
pulling up. I'll try and pull up the clip, but I'm also going to pull up the new rules.
Yeah.
Let me see.
Because that was a weird one. You're like, wait a minute, that should be a safety. Then something, no, this is the new rule. And you're like, no, that is a safety. By regular football, that is a safety.
All right.
safety.
Let me see.
Yeah.
All right. So according to the new rules, the landing zone is the area between the receiving team's goal line and its 20-yard line. Any kick
Right.
that's short of the landing zone, treated like kickoff out of bounds, ball spotted at the 40. Any kick that hits in the landing zone must be returned. Any kick that hits in the landing zone then goes into the end zone must be returned or downed. Kick
Ah.
hits the end zone, stays in bounds, returned or downed. If downed, then touchback. So because it hit in the end zone, then came out, he wasn't allowed to go back into the end zone with it to try and get the kneel. So that's what it was. Is because of the fact that if it lands in the end zone, it's a touchback. It's automatically goes to the 35 now to avoid people just letting it hit on like the 2 and then going into the end zone and doing what they can do with like out of bounds. That's where they can't like force the ball to the 35 every time. So because of the fact that it did hit in the end zone, but it came out in the bounds, it had to be returned. So that's why it was a safety, is because it went in and then came out, and but he tried to do it. So let me see. Conditions cause the ball fall off twice. Kicker will be allowed to use a standing kick, onside kick, safety kick. Kick will be from 20-yard line. The kicker will have the option to use the that's safety kick. Never mind. But yeah, that's what it is because it went in, then bounced out. He had to return it.
Okay. Yeah.
I want to shout out this guy real quick. There's a picture going around of Chiefs fans, a Chief fan texting people, and I'm going to tag you, Josh Patterson.
Oh, I saw that.
The guy says, "Looking good, have fun. We'll look for you." He responds, "Chiefs are playing like shit, and these Jags fans are assholes."
Really?
Just so you guys saw, I love that.
Let me see if I can find the video, but yeah, I mean the new kickoff rules were interesting. I don't necessarily hate it, but I'm also not necessarily a fan of it. Of course, the intention is, I'm put double quotes on this, safety. But we all know that the intention is 100% to, incentivize running the kickback and not kicking out of the back of the end zone, because they want more things, because more explosive plays means more money for the NFL. It has nothing to do with safety. It absolutely has everything to do with who can scheme up the best thing, who can put their running backs back there. I actually saw a couple things too that was like, our team's going to start drafting defensive players who can kick, or bringing up defensive players and teaching them how to kick, because it only has to go inside of the 20. That way you have an extra defender on the field to back up the tackle at the end, so you don't have to worry about the kicker.
Yeah.
And
they had to evacuate the field though, or vacate the field once they kicked it.
No, that's if they have to have a holder. If they have to have a holder,
vacate.
the holder has to evacuate the field, because he's just there to hold the ball. Once he get the ball, he gets supposed to get off the field. Yeah.
Also,
but that wouldn't be a bad idea.
Yeah, but if Cam Little tightens up that little bit of misaim he had one time, he showed Justin Tucker style leg power, dude.
All I know is I heard the wind was blowing pretty hard, No, I definitely agree. I think one thing is, when the ball comes off of your foot like that, and because Tony Wiggins, shout out Tony Wiggins, always shout him out. Yeah, he's been covering the game for a long time. Eric, I'm sure you've seen a lot of kickers over the years. Me and Trevor growing up, being able to see like guys like Justin Tucker, Graham Gano, Josh Lambo, Brandon McManus, dudes that do have just howitzers of legs.
Right.
It's very tough to be even 80% or more, 100% from over 50 yards, over 50, 55 yards. Because you're putting so much power into the ball. You're trusting it's going to fly perfect. I think the fact that they were, we had a guy on the team, Riley Patterson, you may know him.
Just maybe.
If the ball was past if it was more than a 45-yard kick, he was not coming on the field. The fact that they even trusted Cam Little, even in a preseason game, the fact that they even trusted Cam Little to come out there and bang that ball from that far, and the fact that it looked like it could have been good from like 70 to 75, I have absolutely no doubt that he'll clean that up, and that's something that we hopefully don't. Hopefully he's not kicking a lot of 60-something yard kicks unless we're trying to win a game at the very end because it comes down to the wire. Like, hopefully he's not having to kick that many, but we know he can. He had the distance. He's just got to tighten up that group a little bit, and I think he will. He kicked 83.3% or something like that at Arkansas. Like, he's an accurate kicker. He's got the leg. I think that, something we have not had in a long time since Josh Lambo and our little run we had there. We just haven't had a guy we can go out there and just go, okay, yeah, he's going to make it up 50 yards, 55, whatever. Doesn't matter. He's going to make it. So it was very nice to be able to just be like, okay, cool. Kicker's coming out. That's a field goal. Awesome. Let's go. Let's move. So it's very refreshing to see a guy that they even trust to kick a ball from 55, 60, 62 yards. Yeah. Cam Little. Oh, no, go ahead.
You're good. I was about to say, I think another thing that nobody else is really factoring into that is he was on the far side of the field. I think he just hooked it a little bit. He was trying to give it that turn, and you're pushing it that far down the field. I think if that ball's even close to centered in the field, that's in there. It's in there all day. I really do. I have faith in that because I've seen it. I've seen it in training camp now enough. The dude can do it. No ifs, ands, or buts, no doubts. He can do it. So I think if we're just a little bit closer to that center hash, man, I think that's in there. But he had the leg power for sure.
I'm gonna say this. I'm gonna say it now, and that way it's on here, and everybody will know. If we get up on a team by a lot of points this year, and there is a chance for a 66, 67-yard field goal on a fourth down, we're going to let Cam Little take it, and he's going to make it and break the record. It might not be this year. It may be next year, but Cam Little within his first 2 years is going to break the kickoff or the field goal record. I can feel it.
Third and Teal, baby. Third and Teal.
All right.
Heard it here first. That's going to be a short. Absolutely. Just so y'all know.
Yeah.
It's funny, too. Everybody talks about how small Cam Little is. He's 6'2". He's not a small dude, size-wise. It's just when you put him up against everyone else we drafted, dudes 6'5", 300 pounds, like Mason Smith and everything. He looks a little small, but it's just funny. Everybody talks about that. I'm he's not really that small. He's just, he just looks small compared to all those guys.
He's a kicker. What the hell you expect?
I know.
Yeah, I'm out there cock diesel, motherfucker. Damn.
Right, this ain't Janikowski back in Oakland days.
Dude, was huge, man.
Yeah. So no, but he'll be all right. He'll be all right.
Oh yeah.
His first long distance kick in his home stadium. Now he done figured out. I'm sure if he had to do another one last night, I bet he would have made it. Regardless. No, I'm saying another one from that distance.
Oh yeah, you're absolutely right.
Yeah,
I think
he would have made it. So, yeah, I'm not really worried about him.
No.
Hopefully, only thing he have to worry about is doing kickoffs and extra points. He won't have to worry about kicking too many field goals because the offense is putting up enough points to where it won't even matter.
Right.
Yeah.
Eric, while you were gone, we kind of briefly touched on it. We know that there's injuries right now. But what did you think about the line?
It was hard. I wanted to go back and look, take a closer look at it. The line was decent. It was decent. It really was. Um, I kind of zeroed in the second half. I really didn't pay much attention to the second half, who they had out there in different spots. I saw Foster out there, Faulkner, of course. Everybody talking about that one stunt that came up the middle. He didn't do too bad. They had Shatley out there. To me, it was okay. It was okay. It was better than last year. Put it that way. It was better than last year already. So, is there some things that kick up? Yeah, because there's still a little too much pressure. You ask me. But
Oh,
oh,
absolutely.
hold on. But yeah, we're good. Oh Lord.
Well, I think too, like one thing that concerned me a little bit was ETN was averaging 0 yards per carry because he was getting blown up in the backfield. Like,
Well, that's what last year, right?
no, that was this game.
This game. Uh, yeah, but
They stick
if
to
if
the game on the
if I
Texas.
remember those, if I remember those plays you're talking about, yeah, because they were shooting the gaps on that.
Yeah, right. But I
Yeah,
mean, but on top
but
of that,
but if basic just our offensive line against their defensive front four last night, yeah, we did pretty good. I think we really did. Of course, most of our runs are either between the guard and tackle or it's supposed to be bounced outside. Either way. So sometimes it's a back's discretion of what he want to do, and sometimes they choose the wrong route.
that's,
But, huh?
that's true.
Yeah. So I mean, you have to remember too. Still, this is just the first preseason game, so we haven't really seen the unit that's going to be starting day one out there.
Yeah, no
Yeah,
Anton definitely does not help.
no, not
So
having Anton, and even though I hate him, not having Cam doesn't help because
yeah,
when Cam's on the
you
field,
know,
there is a difference on that side of the line. I just
right.
hate that he's always hurt.
So did
I saw Walker Little get walked back a couple of times. I'm like, oh Lord, no, not Walker. And then a couple of plays he did well on. So it just depends on that play, I guess. But we want to see them be consistent as a unit, as a unit.
Yep.
Now the one where Trevor got sacked, that was Trevor's fault. That was his fault. He held on to the ball too long. And because I said it, because he had Ingram coming on in front of him on a crossing route, wide open, but he didn't throw the ball to him. He did. I guess he was trying to go down the side to BJT.
BTJ,
So
you got
yeah. Anyway, but yeah. So you have to look at those kind of things, but it's just the first game, so we'll see. Now, get the second, and I'm assuming the starters maybe play a half the last game, just depends. And if we still having those issues, yeah, we may want to be a little concerned then, because
yeah.
yeah, that means something hasn't been fixed. But let's not do the overreaction thing,
No.
because it's just the first preseason game, and the starters really haven't been there yet.
Yeah, I'd say
I'm
right now
more,
I'm not throwing any red flags.
yeah.
I'm very comfortable with everything I saw last night for a first game.
I found it.
Okay. See, it bounced in. Then he picked it up.
Well, he touched it and then he picked it up and kneeled it in.
Yeah, right.
Yeah, so because it went in and then came out, he has to return that.
Now, can we
Okay.
pull up one other clip that's crucial? Let's pull up the damn strip fumble that they took from us.
Hold on.
Because that Chiefs fans can kiss my ass. Down by
This is right for
contact,
Braswell.
my ass.
There we
Yeah,
go.
that because he was getting up. Speaking of
He
that,
was all the way up.
No, he
speaking
was
of
all the
that,
way up. He's all the way
you
up.
know what
And
I also I like? Oh, go ahead. Let's run it. Let's see.
No, come on, internet. I can count every pixel.
Right.
Watch. Boom. That ball was already in Braswell's hand before he ever actually continued the motion down all the way.
Right.
The receiver was on the way down when Braswell already had it hooked. I mean,
he fell
look
down.
at Jarian though. Look at Jarian. You see him over there?
Mm-hmm.
Look at this. Look, his ass was still off the ground.
Yep, that's ridiculous.
Plain as day, strip fumble return for a touchdown. The score should have been uglier than what it was.
Yeah, so
it was nice to see though, because in college he had a couple plays like that where he got beat and he just kept playing hard and made up for it.
But that's what you want. That's what you're supposed to do.
Oh yeah,
yeah. And now that there's serious competition, you better do it on this team, or you be getting your plane ticket to wherever you want to fly to the next. You get your next call.
I will tell you one thing though. I've seen pictures of it, and I saw it in person. Mac Jones is already letting Luke Fortner know he's kind of ass.
Really?
Oh, yeah. He was already chirping at him like 3 or 4 times because there were plays where Luke Fortner just got fucking steamrolled, and it wasn't it wasn't a double gap blitz. He was not overloaded. He's just getting beat one-on-one, and he's getting beat pretty easily on some plays. Don't get me wrong. I don't hate the guy, but still, like, even Mac's looking at him like, what the fuck are you doing? Like, what are you doing? And that's how you know, like, he was on our line way too much last year in like key moments. And that's how you know that we are not exaggerating the needs we have on the offensive line. Like, Mac definitely, like, I can remember a couple plays. I haven't seen any clips of it yet, but I can remember like Mac just walking over directly to him and just like literally like putting his hands on his helmet, like, what the fuck? Like, dude, like, I am not that fast. Like, dude.
See, those are things you can only see in the stadium. That's why we're glad we got Trevor. Isaiah be joining him shortly. I'm gonna get the 1 or 2 of them myself.
Yeah, let us know for sure.
Yeah.
Let me get this pulled back up. We can get
this week we got Tampa. In my day it was Tampa Bay. Now they just Tampa. But they're supposed to be doing joint practices, right?
Yep.
How many days?
I don't know exactly how many days.
Ventrell Miller.
Ventrell Miller, baby.
With the club. That was Lee Samet too, that rugby kid that came over.
Oh, you know what? And I thought about our first clip for That's Not Good Enough. Well, that dude still went around the left side and was running over people because we was half-ass tackling. I think that was in the third quarter.
Yeah.
You know what I'm talking about? The fullback.
The running back steal. He just fucking.
Yeah. I'm like, well, one of y'all tackling him? I mean, really? And that's first thing I thought, that's not good enough right there. No. That is not good enough. That's not what we're accepting anymore. At all.
At the top of that list as well.
Yeah.
I'm not saying he was terrible, but it ain't good enough.
Right. Exactly. Speaking of that, so okay, here we go.
Oh, sorry. I was
going to get the big guy to the ground. We talk about it all the time. There, missed tackle right in the hole. Then another then a third missed tackle right here.
Yeah, that's not good enough. We're not accepting that.
You got to be able to get the big guy.
Now, the only good thing is number 90 was downfield and ended up making a tackle. But that he shouldn't have to run that far down the field to make a tackle.
No.
That is not good enough. That's not what we are accepting anymore. Nope.
Not
no. Not at all.
Yeah,
and that whole drive, that's what we saw. For the most part, with that guy.
From the other side of the field. Good night.
Mm-hmm. That was number 90. They call him I don't know where he came from, but he really popped last night. He was constantly in the backfield. He didn't get all the accolades or sacks or whatever, but he was there. He was raising some havoc. So I did like him.
There was a throw opposite side of the field of Ventrell, and here comes a fucking piss missile. Just like Ventrell was everywhere, man.
So,
Like I think I sent you guys a message right when he did it. I said incredible play or some shit like that from Ventrell. Just he was insane, man. Insane.
Yeah.
I'm beyond happy.
So,
I'm beyond happy anytime I see Ventrell Miller on the field.
Me too. Go Gators.
Oh, here we go. But anyway, yeah.
Ruined
So we doing good. Okay, game 1 is down. So we came out pretty much injury free on this one, which is good. Which is good. So game 2
Shout out to
Saturday.
everybody that was there. Shout out to everybody. Shout out
Yeah,
everybody.
shout out everybody that was there. And made Trevor the superstar that he is. Thank y'all.
Yeah, did more people recognize you, old Mr. Famous?
Heck yeah.
I had 2 of them. I had
Heck
2
yeah.
people recognize me. One in the parking lot and one on the ramp on our way out.
Oh, what you didn't have on a black jersey and a black hat, did you?
No.
Okay. Because I was going to say, I thought I saw you for a moment. I'm like, no, that ain't Trevor.
No, I was
But
cooking
yeah.
in my throwback.
No, okay.
Oh yeah.
Nah,
I'll tell you
gotcha.
what though, man. There's some real cool people. I think I know we're gonna make 200 before regular season week 1.
Mm-hmm.
We'll make it, I think, before the game, and if not before the game, I'll make it before game start Saturday. I can tell you that it'll happen.
It'll happen. All right, that's good stuff.
Shout out to y'all, man. Like and subscribe, share, please share.
For sure.
Repost.
Thanks for coming out, for sure. Thanks for posting up with us and interviewing and just helping us grow this channel.
Yes,
we y'all, by the way. I ain't forgot about y'all. They will be posted throughout the week.
Yeah.
By the way, oh no, go ahead, Eric.
No, you go right ahead.
I'm about to share something, so you can go ahead. Yeah, I got a second to pull it up.
No, I was going to say, as you can see, if one of us drop out, we do fight to get back into the show. So don't just think we just doing it just because. I'm talking to y'all on my phone, so we good.
Oh yeah. Unless something else happened after our game last night, we have the longest in modern era kickoff return history so far.
Yeah.
Oh yeah,
man, Parker Washington looked like a beast on that though.
Honestly, not so hot take. He is Tebow Samuel of our team. Like, we need to use him in that role. Put him in the backfield. Let him swing out, do different stuff. And
yeah,
we definitely need to.
You could have showed that play too, or you could play our clip of the touchdown.
Yeah, I'll pull up our
pass
clip.
from Trevor.
Mm-hmm.
We're better than everybody. So
yeah, Trevor called. You called that one, didn't you?
Yeah, you
whispered that to Trevor on the field. 3rd and Teal, Trevor whispers to Trevor Lawrence. Trevor to ETN.
It was mental. It was mental. We talking to each other. It's telepathy. Trevor to Trevor connection. I just said throughout the whole time, as soon as we lined up, they finna cook.
They're finna cook. They're fixing to cook.
Everybody going crazy.
Heck yeah.
They finna cook. I knew it was a touchdown. I knew it was a touchdown. I just felt it. So I'm sitting there. I just started tingling. I'm like, shit, this is a touchdown. It's over with.
See, so that's a good thing too. We just not throwing fades and the back shoulder passes in the end zone. So good.
I got something too. It's an idea.
I'll try to run up the clip.
It's an idea. I'm gonna send it to you guys after the show for you to check it out. But you guys be on the lookout for a potential little hype video for 3rd and Teal, because I have an idea. Got an idea.
Okay.
I'm just saying.
A little hype video. I hear you.
Not the hype. The hype.
We're always the best in the CPN.
Okay. We got you.
Yeah. And shout out to the couple gentlemen that I spoke to last night that also have a podcast. I wish your show was the best of luck. I appreciate you also subscribing to us. I gave you a sub as well. I can say, though, there are a couple people that I'll be in contact with about potentially having on the show. Would love to have them on. And see how that goes. But if y'all are ever out there, which I mean, it feels crazy to even say something like this. It really does. But like, if you're out there and you see us, come say something, because apparently there are plenty of you that have seen us. We're over 110,000 views on the channel. So that's 110,000 people that have seen our faces or heard our voices and know what we're doing.
Exactly.
So
yeah, it's gonna be cool for sure. I mean, it's gonna be interesting to be like, there and somebody just be like, "Yo, it's so and so from Third and Teal." Be like, "Hey,
I know,
I'm so
right?
and so from Third and Teal." Like,
it is wild, man. Like I said, like it's only happened a couple times, and I think one of the times was like I was plugging for the channel, and then one guy was like, "I've seen you before." Or he's like, "Or I talked to you at the draft party, or it was this, or it was that, or you're from Third and Teal," or like, it's super cool, super cool.
Cool. That I'm talking about right there. Right there.
hell yeah. Well,
Hell yeah.
I think that's a good place to leave it off. Unless y'all got something else to say about that game. I think we covered a lot. I think to sum it up for me personally, and I can just do a quick little sum up. We can all do this real quick, but I think the stock rose on Ventrell and Abdullah a little bit this game. I think on offense, Jalen Jackson, his stock rose a little bit. Parker Washington and Tank Bigsby, I'm feeling a lot better about them as well. Those are kind of some guys that I think that showed us what they could do a little bit this game, and I'm excited for.
Absolutely. I think also, I think BTJ stock rose, if that's even possible, because we knew he was going to be a playmaker, but that was good. That was elite play right there. I mean, you don't see just your everyday run-of-the-mill receivers bringing that in. Same thing to be said about Duvernay. Devin Duvernay's stock definitely rose with his touchdown reception and route running. Joshua Cephas, in my book, his stock rose for sure. Just watching. I know we had limited play time, which was very upsetting and disappointing, but still to be said, like, I loved what I saw from him when he was on the field. So
yeah. And for me, it's Terrell Edmonds. His physicality, the way he was laying wood down there, man. He'll make some people think about catching the ball on him or in front of him for sure. So yeah, I like that. And number 90, I keep yelling number 90, man. Oh, and Cole, the last out of Texas Tech.
Oh, Miles Cole, yeah.
Miles Cole. Oh man, his first step is oh my goodness. He jumped off so fast one time. I think he scared the quarterback and the tackle. They didn't know what to do. He was back there so fast. So I think those their stocks are rising also.
He's
All in
number
all,
59, right?
Yeah, 59. Should I have to? I can't look right now. I'm on my phone.
Pretty sure.
Yeah. Yeah. But great stuff. And I'm gonna learn how to say number 90 name. It's Owami Gun or something. Yeah, it's one of them long old names. OW. Huh?
Yeah, I got it. I had it pulled up. Let me see if I get the roster back up.
Yeah.
Number 90. Sezi, Esezi, Esezi.
Uh-huh.
Odamewo.
Okay, that's close enough. Yeah, that's close enough.
Otomewo. So Odamewo, something like
that. Right. He had an outstanding game in my eyes also.
Yeah, he's 2 years in the league. He's 25. He played for Minnesota.
Yeah. So, because I was like, where did he come from? I hadn't heard nothing about him.
Well, all right.
Yeah.
As usual. Shout out Worm. Worm. Thanks for coming on, guys. Thanks for helping me do this every week. I'll get this uploaded when I can, get some shorts out. And yeah, thanks for coming on.
All right.
Sir. Logging it